Best fans in the world, best sponsorship in the world. Are Newcastle United just the best team in the world? Right, before everyone jumps on me in the comments, I know we're not the biggest club in the world. I know we've got a long way to go before we're the likes of Madrid, Bayern, Liverpool, even Man United, although a bit questionable at the moment. But there is two parts to Newcastle United. After the weekend we just had at the trophy parade, where I couldn't not make a video showing appreciation for these two parts of the club. Those two things, as you can probably tell from the start of the video, are our fans and our sponsorship deal with Sela. And I'm well aware that talking about Sela, with it being a Saudi Arabian company, is going to be an absolute minefield for me to navigate through, because people are going to have a lot of opinions on that. So stay tuned to the end to see if I manage to navigate through that minefield. But first of all, I'm going to talk about the fans. But before we get started on that, I want to start by saying a massive, massive thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed so far. I never in a million years expected within the first sort of 10 days to have almost 200 subscribers. When I said in the last video that it genuinely makes my day every time a subscriber pops up, you can imagine how I've been feeling over this past sort of week, where I've gone from 20 to 180. And I know in the grand scheme of YouTube, 180 is not really that much, but to me, it feels like massive. And also a quick thank you as well to Aniki Bruco that sent me a couple of war beer to pop in the backdrop of the videos, and they sent me a few spare, so I had them before I went to the town mall. If you do like the content and you want to see more regular uploads, drop a like, subscribe, put the bell on, share the video, put it in your group chats. Anything that helps the channel grow is going to mean that I can put more time into the channel, and I would love to be able to put as much time as I can into the channel, because I'm genuinely loving making these videos. But anyway, let's get started and let's get on to the fans. Why do I think Newcastle fans are the best fans in the Premier League? We've all seen the conversation being had multiple times on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, just people having the conversation, who has the best fans in the Premier League. A lot of the time, the ones that are thrown out there as potentials, you've got Newcastle, you sometimes see Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, Leeds you see sometimes, obviously not in the Premier League at the moment, but when they've been in the Premier League. I think sometimes you see Everton, and I'm not sure really there's any others that you sort of often see pop up. Obviously, if you do think I've missed any there, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm sure plenty of you will have been on away days where you've been to clubs that potentially haven't been mentioned there, and you've been pleasantly surprised, and you might want to throw them in there, throw them in the mix. And alternatively, I'm sure there's been plenty of times where fans have gone away to clubs, potentially some of them ones that I've just mentioned, that they expect the atmosphere to blow them away, and they've been disappointed. So I'm genuinely intrigued to see what everyone's experiences have been like as away fans going to all these different grounds around the Premier League. I'm sure without a doubt there's a few surprise packages in there. But for Newcastle United, I think there's 2 or 3 reasons why I think our fans just can't be beaten. Potentially not just best in the Premier League, but best in the world. So the first reason I want to talk about goes back to our years of being crap. Back down when we were in the Championship, and despite having been relegated, one of the lowest points of our club's history, we still on a number of occasions managed to sell out St James's Park, which at the time was I think either the 3rd or the 4th biggest stadium in the country. And even on the weeks we didn't sell out St James's Park, we would still be touching most weeks 48, 49,000. To follow the team away, you have to travel further than any other team has to, being located right at the top of the country. But despite that, we still managed to sell the maximum capacity at every away ground, whether it's Southampton, Brighton, you name it, maybe a Monday night, doesn't matter. Geordies will travel there to support the club, and you'll fucking know about it because they'll be loud. And granted, from time to time, the atmosphere at St James's Park could be better, but the same could be said at any ground in the Premier League. There is no ground in the Premier League that is consistently every week bouncing. But on the nights that we're up for it, there is no other ground in the Premier League that can create the same feeling that is created at St James's Park. Just look at that PSG game.
That's what it means to the supporters of Newcastle United.
But more than anything, and honestly, the real reason I'm making this video, the real reason I have a section in the video about the fans, you have to look no further than what happened this last weekend. Our fan base has been something that we've always been proud of. When we were crap, it was the only thing we had. All the other clubs were out there winning the trophies, and we were like, you can have your trophies, have them. We've got the best fans in the world. We had to have something to cope. When we weren't winning trophies, every Newcastle fan will have said to someone, when we do win a trophy, it will be like nothing you've ever seen. When you look at the sheer numbers that turned up to celebrate what in reality isn't the world's biggest accolade, it is, as many fans keep on reminding us, just a Carabao Cup. But if we do that for a Carabao Cup, imagine what we do if we won a fucking treble. To put it into perspective, about 100,000 fans are reported to have turned up to Man City's treble open-top bus parade thing. For our trophy parade over the weekend, the numbers vary as to how many turned up, but what's most commonly being reported is around 150,000 in the city and a further 150,000 at the town mall. Most people are saying it's probably closer to 300,000 in the city and 150,000 at the town mall. But being on the conservative side, that's at least 300,000. For reference, the capacity of Glastonbury is around 200,000 and the population of Newcastle is around 300,000. And what a weekend it was. There was people of all generations. You could tell it meant the absolute world to every single one of them. And why did it mean so much to every single one of them? Because as a city, Newcastle lives and breathes football. It is everything to the city. If you come to Newcastle for the day and get in a taxi and you are able to talk about Newcastle United, by the end of that journey, that taxi driver is going to be your best mate. You're definitely getting your 5-star rating on Uber. There isn't another club that I can think of that would put on scenes like that. But ultimately, regardless of whether you think we have the best fans or not, it doesn't really matter. What matters more than anything is how proud we all are to have been able to show the level of support we did to the players, the staff, everyone involved for creating a moment in our history, a moment we've been waiting 70 years for. Bruno understood it as soon as he arrived. He said he wanted to be part of the club's history, and I think there's going to be other players, having seen what they saw over the weekend, that are going to be thinking the same thing now. Some of the players that have been linked away, obviously there's loads of journalists just trying to sell papers, create unrest in the squad, but I couldn't be more confident now after this weekend that a lot of these players, there's absolutely no chance of them going anywhere after seeing that and after seeing what they can become at this club. But that's enough about the fans. We'll move on to the original reason I was going to make this video in the first place. The original reason was because of Sela and to show appreciation for what they've done since they've been at the club. So as I said earlier, I'm fully aware Sela is a Saudi Arabian company and that comes with its controversies. People are going to have their opinions on that. I, however, am talking on a football fan channel, not on a politics channel. I'm not a politician, so I'm aware of everything surrounding that topic, but that's not what I'm going to be talking about. Say what you want about what Saudi Arabia do in their country, but I'm going to be talking about what Sela are doing at Newcastle United. So to start with, I'm going to throw out a few other sponsorships and like sporting partnerships that I think are sort of noteworthy, ones that have left a lasting impression on me or have been somewhat memorable. I think Barcelona's deal with Spotify was pretty cool. They'd put promo for like different artists on the front of their shirts, so that was kind of cool. I think Ipswich's with Ed Sheeran, I think that's pretty cool. A public figure, massive Ipswich fan, so it's cool to see that on the front of a shirt. I think PSG with Jordan is quite iconic. And then the years that they had Messi there and they had the GOAT thing as well, that was pretty cool. I can't mention shirt sponsorships and not mention Newcastle Brown Ale. And last but not least, it's a bit of an obscure one, but I was told by a Forest fan the other day that Swizzles Matlow, the company that makes the drumstick lollies, I think they've got a sponsorship with the Fan Zone or something for Forest, and they sit outside handing out drumstick lollies, which is always a win because drumstick lollies are banging. If there's any other kind of noteworthy sponsorships, anything cool that anyone's sponsors have done before that I should know about, please, again, leave it in the comments down below. It's not the kind of thing that you hear a ton about in football, like the things that sponsorships do for their clubs. So it's something that I'm quite intrigued to know, like the little niche bits of information and the sort of unique things that different sponsorships have done for the clubs. But the reason I wanted to make a video talking specifically about Sela is because of the unforgettable moments that they have given Newcastle United fans. And in only 2 years, there's been a lot already. We've had the first initial drone show above St. James's Park. We've had their partnership with RNID where they made the haptic shirts, which were essentially groundbreaking shirts for deaf people that would react with the atmosphere at the stadium and feed that through vibrations in the shirt, allowing some deaf fans to be able to experience a matchday atmosphere for the first time in their lives. Then there was the light shows, there was the end of season 1 on the Baltic, and also the one just before the Carabao Cup final in London. There's been fan rallying campaigns such as Unsilence the Crowd, We Are One, We Don't Do Quiet. And last but not least, over the weekend we got another Sela drone show. All of these moments are going to be things that live with the fans forever. And usually in football, unforgettable moments are generally left down to the playing team. It's not very often that things that happen off the pitch create unforgettable moments. But as Newcastle fans, Sela are giving us another 3 or 4 dates a year where we have something incredible to remember. You know, I've been at these events and I've seen people watching on with a tear in their eye because Sela are taking moments in our history and making them such unforgettable experiences. The players are making them already unforgettable experiences on the pitch, but then Sela are basically giving us it again. We get to relive the moment. You experience the emotion once when it happens, and then again when Sela put on a display to celebrate that moment. All of these things that Sela have done are things that neutral fans probably won't really be that aware of. Most neutral fans that I showed them to and have spoken to had no idea they've even happened. And my whole point about the fans, that could have just been black and white glasses, I get that. But for this point about Sela, there is global awards to recognise the work that Sela have been doing with Newcastle United. Since becoming the front of shirt sponsor, they've won 80 awards globally, 72 of them in 2024, meaning Sela and Newcastle were recognised as the most award-winning footballing sponsorship in the world. So on that one, the numbers don't lie. Let me know if I'm just being deluded. I probably am. I've had a lot to drink over the past 2 weeks. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Who's got the best fans in the league? Are there any other major sponsorship deals that I've completely missed? And thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.